Gendragfan.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I suppose we've done enough of our own plugging here. I think it's time to kick this off here.
And what a match to get started
Akashirobo.
with as well. Yeah.
Yeah, Akashirobo versus Gendragfan. You know, Akashi, a fairly infamous name to the upper echelon of Tetris players. You know, kind of an elusive name. Always in the ranked queue, never in a tournament, but here we are. Here he is, dropping the anchor on square one, charting a course to championship.
And again, for those of you that watched Akashirobo's group stage, their gameplay is definitely no slouch. Many ultis and curbs, just as much as possible. And of course, just to plug this in right before we go in, Gen was the only tier 3 player from bracket to qualify for top 16. Just wanted to shout that out there as well. So Gen, you know, despite having some losing matchups in their group, no slouch to pulling some upsets here and there. Very excited to see how this match go. T and J to start. Here we go, baby. Square one, top 16.
All right, both players starting with that traditional 6-3 sprint stack. Akashi with a fractal pretty quick.
A little misdrop there for Gen, but nothing too major. Again, we saw a lot of nerve-wracking play from Gen, able to get us some tight situations with that extra speed. And Akashi has a little interesting overhang, cleans it up just fine, though. We've got Gen going into the first zone, working their way up. T-misdrop might hurt some things later down the line. Obviously, nothing too drastic in terms of their stack momentarily, but when you have someone like Akashirobo on the other end of the board, you want to be as efficient as possible. Gets the ulti, we're at 54, and Akashirobo trying to play this as efficient as possible. A misdrop might actually cut this short. Yeah, it's going to be 16 Dekahexatrus, but still 51, and actually sends Gen some garbage, showing that, just kind of leaving that as the threatening card of this is what I can get out of 16. If you want to see the ulti, stay tuned.
Yeah, Gendragfan is actually, you know, Gen is putting a lot of fight into this, you know, despite Akashi being very aggressive with the attacks. Gen's been able to cancel, mitigate, you know, keep the survival going despite circumstances.
Ooh,
gets that T-spin double up at 18, hits the 19, gets a 48 attack. Akashi's still in zone here, so we'll have to see what he does to counteract. 43 plus some.
That actually ended the zone from Akashirobo. I think that's the first time I've seen them, like, time out of a zone before. So I think Gen actually trying to be extremely proactive with zone ended up forcing Akashirobo to zone in a less than optimal scenario. And this is one of the few times we've seen Akashirobo not in the easiest position. However,
but yeah, no, Gen's not in a great position either. Like downstacking a lot, trying to keep that survival up. That L misdrop is gonna end that first round though.
All right, and so first game, 154 from Akashirobo. Wasting no time getting those pieces down on the matrix and playing as fast as possible. Again, a lot of players have demonstrated that speed is a critical role in CEC gameplay, and with Akashirobo's gameplay, I think you can see why.
Yeah. And, you know, going with that 6-3 stack at the beginning, following, like, the traditional sprint strategy, is a good way to get your speed up.
And, oh my goodness, Akashirobo is just so quick with the 6-3 stack. Gen usually has to remain at the bottom of the board stacking Tetrises, while Akashirobo is able to upstack a ton. And, you know, especially going into the zone, I think that ability to upstack really fast does help them get some more momentum out of the zones.
That T-spin double from Gendrag up to 18. 61 attack from...
Oh, but no, Akashi's not gonna... Alright, it is still phase 2, so Akashi's not in too bad of a spot. Misdrop from Gen might make things problematic.
Finds a good down stack, though. Yeah, has a down stack into the Tetris. Gonna be able to mitigate most of that damage. Has enough for a half zone. Goes for it.
Again, looks like it might be a little early judging by the points, but again, last time we hit phase 3 at 1 minute 18. That zone is going to be phase 2, but Akashirobo's doesn't really have much to send, and Gen wants to be able to build up in phase 2, getting ready for Akashirobo's counterattack. Again, building up in the phase 2 rather than phase 3. You get a little bit more zone meter for everything you do clear. And that's 57. This is a lot to clear, but I believe Gen has a 3/4 zone to make work.
I believe it. Oh, that is still a huge queue of garbage incoming, and that's just not going to be survivable. That board state was not good enough.
So, and in fact, actually, yeah, Gen was playing a little bit faster than Akashirobo, one of the faster players that we have seen from Square One. But unfortunately, Akashirobo just has reigned supreme in the efficiency department. And when you have some player this fast being this efficient, there's not a lot of good options for Gen. But we've definitely seen them mix up their play style, trying to counter and find a way around this.
We're like speed is definitely something you need in the game. And oh goodness.
Oh, unfortunately, didn't get as much out of the zone as they were hoping, and Akashirobo again just, you know, it's only 100 APM, but early game with no zone, that is still a lot of pressure to deal with, and unfortunately, I don't think Gen was too prepared to take all of that at once.
Yeah, if you saw from those stats, they have the same exact speed in that situation there, but you know, it's what matters truly in the end is the efficiency. You can play fast, but you also need to keep in mind that you need to be sending quite a bit of garbage over to your opponent.
Yeah, I like Gen has now built Gen's built the stack around the garbage well, which allows them to just retaliate everything that Akashirobo sends. So even if Gen loses on the efficiency momentarily, they're usually able to send it right back instantaneously.
Akashi setting up T-spin doubles. I saw a Fractal being set up in that zone. Impressive stuff, getting up to 20, 66 attack. Not quite perfect clear material, but Gen 53, and that's just not gonna be enough.
Oh no, and this is
more than one APP that round. That efficiency from Akashi is just relentless.
Most of the time, people when you get one APP at like 120 drops per minute, people just pop off over it. Akashirobo's just at, you know, 130% of that APM and is like, yeah, we're still gonna make it work. Just
not only was it nearly 160 DPM, it was like I have no words for this guy.
Take your time.
Like that was nearly 160 APM in 150. Like I don't understand.
I like
how
this decision from Gen's going fast. Obviously, I think that was still a full zone, but trying to do as fast as possible to make sure that Akashirobo either has to go fast and bail out on a weaker zone, or again, although Akashi did get a 61 zone, Gen has another bit of zone to work with to try and mitigate some damage.
That's a lethal garbage queue.
Oh, we can see the end of the garbage queue with the skim options there. No, they're not.
There was no garbage options there. It's unfortunate.
Again, what's kind of still the best thing I think Gen could have done, it was unfortunate they placed a piece over columns 1 and 2, and that's where the garbage spawned. So they needed to clear 3 of their own lines without actually burning much of their own stack, and sometimes, unfortunately, the garbage just happens like that.
Yeah. Okay. Gen has had some pretty decent starts against Akashi, though. It's not the best to entirely dismiss Gen yet.
Oh, again, anyone at Square One you cannot dismiss. You know.
Yeah, it's not over until it's over.
The upset factors have been quite staggering from much of the cast. All right, we see Gen going into misdrop. Might make things a bit more difficult. 14-42.
Cleaning up that garbage queue quite nicely.
Is that the entire zone? They still only have like 5 or so garbage lines, but I think Gen sent those after the zone.
Yeah.
And so you can see, although the garbage is going up on Akashirobo's left-hand side of their matrix, this zone could be 50 or 60 depending on that efficiency.
Yes, 20 lines, 57 attack. Oh, that's
Gen's got to counter just about all of this, and Akashirobo can still send lines outside of zone. So Gen's going to need like a 60-plus zone potentially if they're going to try and break even. Might be able to tank some garbage if Akashirobo's not fast enough. All right, tops out.
38. That's not going to...
Oh, no, but it's phase 3 now.
Gen can find the down stack.
Phase 3. No, it's still not there.
Gen had a few potentials for a down stack there, I think, but you know, it's just that's still a lot of pressure to keep up on, and you know, Akashi still has plenty of room to keep piling on the garbage. It's just we are already at match point from Akashi. And Gen just misses the Tetris PC. Ugh.
Well, I think Gen might have willingly done that. There was a set in versus Gigawatt in the group stages. They had the PC, but opted not to have a better chance activating making sure that Gigawatt was not able to send garbage. And I think especially with how fast Akashirobo has been, I think Gen wants to be the one accepting garbage early on, just to make sure that they're not topping out too early from it.
Yeah, this is. Yeah, Gen.
Ooh, another misstrike.
But you know, full zone into phase 2. Zone timer's gonna be short a little.
It's not been that long, but despite the fact that holding a zone meter sometimes has been pretty good for most players. That T-spin will lock it for Gen. 17. Akashirobo
42 and 17. Akashi finishing it off with a triple 65 attack. Okay. That is a lot of garbage incoming. It's survivable.
All right, but now Gen needs another. Gen's gonna want to get another quarter zone as fast as possible. It is so high
up. He's on the ropes right now. This is a very precarious situation.
Okay, that does send it into phase 3, but Akashirobo only has a quarter.
Survives.
And Gen is actually sitting in a very good spot against Akashirobo.
Yeah, in a clean garbage stack. We have a good situation so far.
This is, again, like the first chance we've seen Gen really have some momentum going into phase 3. But this is also one of the first times we've seen Akashirobo not in a completely dominant situation.
He's been triple tower into C-spin. Oh my goodness, what is Akashi doing?
Oh, Gen getting pressured, has to pop a zone, but this is not a lot of...
Has some time, has some breathing room. That should probably prolong it. That L misdrop, though.
This could be curtains if Gen doesn't find some magic very soon. Akashirobo already at 14 lines is just trying to sprint this zone out in 18. Yeah, that's another
finishing with an open phase 3 with 70 attack.
And okay, what can Gen do with this? I think it's a half zone. Thank goodness.
Getting a Tetris up top, but that's a lethal garbage queue, and the pieces are not right for Gendrag. That's gonna end it. Oof. Akashi taking it away with a sweep. 7-0.
Match with a 7 to end the rounds.
What a start! What a start!
I'm gonna be completely honest. I think that's the highest zone clear we've seen to end a game. Actually, I think ever. That was
a 70 line ulti. That was a 70 attack ulti in phase 3 of all things.
Yeah, and again, phase 3, your time duration I think is at maximum 10 seconds, requiring, especially if you're starting that zone very low on the board, you have to be playing at over 2, almost 3 pieces per second. Just to even consider having enough pieces on the board to get an ulti.